about $13,000, and it doesn't look like the bulls are stopping anytime soon. Good evening, my name is Chui. This is your trading and investing channel, Blockchain Thunder. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you why Bitcoin has the potential to push to further upside after a short-term consolidation. And I'm going to show you why I'm so bullish for Bitcoin fundamentally. So let's dive right into it. Let's start with the Bitcoin weekly chart. As I mentioned in my last video, Bitcoin has overcome a lot of resistance over the past month. You see this one, and now the only two left is this $14,000 and the all-time high in 2017, $20,000. These two are the only obstacles on the way. The first reason that I think Bitcoin has a further upside to go is the BitMax index funding. As I mentioned in my previous video, the negative bars for bulls are very important. As long as the bars are negative, that means the bulls are trying to push the price up. So over the last 8 weeks, we have these beautiful negative bars. And because of this, we saw this final reward for a huge breakout to the upside. But the best thing is that we are still in negative. Look at this. This is still negative values. This is great consolidation, a great breakout and a great consolidation. So that is the first reason I think Bitcoin has a further upside to go, because of these negative bars. As long as it's negative, the bulls are in control. So even in the short term, if the bears push the price down, if you make it even more negative, that will be even more bullish for Bitcoin. And there is a second possibility that the bulls can push the price all the way up more than $14,000. In this case, the bars might turn positive. However, even if it turns positive 1 bar or 2 bar, I think the bulls still have momentum to go. Therefore, I think bulls still have a lot of momentum in the tank. Now let's take a look at the daily chart. For daily chart, the RSI has reached close to 80. This is really high. Normally, when RSI reaches 80, I will sell whatever stock or cryptocurrency. But this is different. Still, take a look at the BitMax index funding. We have close to more than a month of consolidation with the negative bars. Do you think Bitcoin will just crash now, down to 9,000, 8,000, 7,000 now? In my opinion, this is highly impossible, because normally after a long period of negative bars, we will also have a period of positive bars. And right now, we are just entering the transition from negative bars to the positive bars. This is why I'm so bullish for Bitcoin for the midterm. And of course, a crash down to this supporting level at around $11,000, it's possible, because the bulls will be able to collect more momentum if the price gets pushed down right now. So I will not be surprised if Bitcoin have a small crash to around $11,000, $11,500. That's totally possible, and it's really good, really good for Bitcoin price. Now let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. Right now we are in 76. This is really high. As I mentioned before, when everybody is in greed, you should be in fear. So yes, I do think there's a possibility that we will have a small crash in the next several days. But it doesn't change my opinion for the midterm that Bitcoin still have a lot of room to go for the coming weeks and months. And if you take a look at the Fear and Greed Index time series, you see that right now we are at resistance at around 75, 76, and this is a resistance. So it's possible that we might have a small crash and then keep pushing to the upside. And if we can surpass about 80 to 82, we will get across this resistance zone and into an extreme greed. In that case, you should be very careful. If I were you and I'm in profit, I will be taking some profit at least. Now let's go back to the Bitcoin chart and take a look at the 4-hourly. For the 4-hourly, the 4-hourly consolidation has begun for the RSI. We reach about 87, that is really high. And then we have bearish divergence. You can see the price is going up, but the RSI is going down. This is why we have this small crash over here. We crashed from about $13,400 to about $12,890, which has brought RSI down to about 858 level. And this is really good because right now we are at support for the RSI. So the support, you can see this is resistance, and right now we are at support. But there is still a possibility that it will keep going down, so the price might still going to crash to this support level at around 12,500. That is totally possible, and that will be very healthy. And now if you take a look at the BitMEX index funding, this is really interesting because over the several days we just going from negative to a breakout to the positive, and then break down, and then break out, and then break down again. And this is a very beautiful consolidation. And this is how we transit from the negative bars to positive bars. Now let's take a look at altcoins, because there is something interesting happening for the altcoin market. This is Bitcoin dominance. As I mentioned before, we have this huge breakout for the Bitcoin dominance. This is why we saw those altcoin markets have a huge bloodbath last month. A lot of altcoins have a huge crash, about 80% crash, 70% or even 90% crash. But last week, after Bitcoin break to the upside to about $13,000, we have a huge crash for the Bitcoin dominance. And we saw some interesting thing. That is, some of the altcoins starting to gaining momentum. So let's take a look at these altcoins. The first one I want to take a look at is Litecoin. Litecoin is a relatively old coin compared to all those DeFi coins. But I've been really bullish for the Litecoin, not because of the fundamental, but because of the technical reason. If you take a look at the weekly chart for altcoin, for Litecoin, you can see that we have a price moving down, but RSI is moving up. This is a really huge divergence and bullish divergence. This is like, let me measure it, about 1197 days. So that is about close to 3 to 4 years of divergence. That is no joke. That is really huge for Litecoin. If we break to the upside now, there will be a really huge upside for the coming years. So that is the reason that I'm so bullish for the Litecoin. And that is why I've been accumulating every time Litecoin has a small crash. Next one I want to take a look at is Balancer. Balancer is one of the new DeFi project, and it's one of the popular ones. So I'm also bullish for the Balancer because of the RSI. So if I plot this line as usual, so this line has been breakout to the upside. This is why it's invalidated. So we need to move it this way. And if you take a look at it, we have a 1 touch point, 2 touch point, 3 touch point, 4 touch point, and a small breakout. This is very important which signals that balancer might have a huge run in the coming days and weeks. The next one is YFV. So if you take a look at YFV, as I mentioned before, the price is going down, but RSI is still going up. Even though we have a small pullback, but it didn't change the trend. Holders or miners for YFV, be prepared for a huge upside. So that's the update for Bitcoin and altcoins. So what do you think of the cryptocurrency market? Which coins are you in right now? Are you in Bitcoin or are you in some of the altcoins? Jump down to the comment section and let me know. Now let's get into the fundamental of the cryptocurrency market. I want to share with you an important trend that I observed that is very important for the cryptocurrency market. So that is the history of the blockchain technology. In October 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto published the Bitcoin white paper. That is when Bitcoin was born in 2008. And then in 2010, there was a Florida miner, Laszlo, bought a pizza with Bitcoin, and that's the famous pizza event for Bitcoin history. And in November 2013, Bitcoin price reached $1,100 for the first time. And then in 2015 and 2016, we have a lot of institutions like New York Exchange, USAA, BBVA, GoCoMo is one of the big institutions in Japan. And Nasdaq and Bank of England and IBM started to explore blockchain technology. And then in 2017, the famous Bitcoin reaches all-time high, about $20,000 for the first time. In 2017, the same month, Bitcoin CME future launched. In 2019, February, JPMorgan launches JPM coin. 2019 June, Facebook launches cryptocurrency Libra. And then this year, in April, China launched central bank digital currency. In September 2020, Grayscale bought 17,000 Bitcoin in 7 days. And this month, this year, PayPal launched cryptocurrency support. So, PayPal launched this support to enabling its users to buy, hold, and sell cryptocurrency. That is huge because PayPal has about 300 million users in the world. Now, PayPal is enabling its users. It gives their ways to buy Bitcoin. A lot of people are interested in Bitcoin, but they don't know how to buy it. But right now, PayPal is giving them this possibility to buy it. That is huge, and that could be where the new funding's coming from. Now go back to this chart. If you take a look at it carefully, before 2015, we have a lot of retail investors putting money in Bitcoin. But after 2015, especially after 2017, we're starting to have these institutions coming in, like JPMorgan, Facebook, China, Grayscale, PayPal. These are all huge institutional investing. So we move from retail investment to institutional investment. Now, the question is, who is next? So who do you think is next one? Is it Google? Or is it Amazon? Or is it you? Don't wait for these guys to come in. That will be too late. And that ends the fundamental section for the cryptocurrency market. Now, let's come back to the chart and take a look at gold and silver. So this is the gold chart. As I mentioned before, if gold can break out of this descending triangle to the upside, that will be very bullish. However, it's also possible for gold to come back and retest this line. And if it breaks this line, it could possible for gold to keep going down to this supporting level at around $1,750. But right now, don't worry yet. We can see some downward wicks which signals upward momentum from the bulls. So that is a good sign. So it's possible that gold will follow Bitcoin and break to the upside. That is totally possible. But one of the things we need to consider is the weekly chart. If we take a look at the weekly of gold, and if you take a look at RSI, that is really important because gold is entering into a period for the weekly consolidation. If you connect this line and connect this one, you will see that we have one touch point, two touch point, breakout, come back and retesting this line. But if you take a look at my previous video, I mentioned that if we only have two touch point and breakout, there's a huge possibility for gold to keep coming back here, touch this line again, and then go to the upside. And it's even more possible that gold can go down and then break this line to around 30 and then come back up. In this case, there's a huge possibility for the gold price to plunge to at least $1,750, and that will be very good for those who want to invest in the gold market. Now let's take a look at silver. As I mentioned before, silver right now is at a descending channel. So if it gets rejected at this level, and then it could possibly for it to come back and retest this line and then go up. And keep in mind that this is also a weekly chart. So look at RSI. Right now we have one touch point close to a second touch point. So there is a possibility that we might have a rejection here, keep going down and then form a third touch point. That would be very healthy for the silver price, and it's also in line with this action. So that is my short update for the gold and silver. Now it's time for stocks. So let's take a look at the fear and greed index first. One very unsettling fact for these several days is that the fear and greed index is not showing on the website. That is really unsettling. Is it possible that Wall Street is playing some games here? Are they trying to hide something? I don't know, but we can look for clues. So the first clue is junk bond is at extreme greed. Put and call option, extreme greed. Safe haven demand, extreme greed. Market momentum, greed. Only this 2 is neutral. 3 is neutral. And a very important thing is that the time series of the fear and greed index over time is still here. And we are at about 75 to 74 to 75. That is extreme greed. Over all these clues, I think we should be very cautious for the stock market because a lot of people is getting really greed at the moment. And as I mentioned before, I closed 80% of my stock market positions because of this reason. And now let's take a look at the S&P 500. So as I mentioned before, it's possible that the stock market is trying to form a cup and handle pattern right now. Now if I remove this prediction, you can see that we are trying to form a handle at the moment. And if we can break to the upside, then stock market could still have an upper momentum. But if we plunge to the downside and take out this low at about 3,200 for S&P 500, that it will become pretty ugly. The same thing goes to Nasdaq and Dow Jones. Now if we go to the daily of S&P 500, this is not a beautiful candle because it's basically an engulfing candle engulfing this one. Means there's a possibility we might keep going down from here. But if we take a look at Dow Jones, we have a long wick from the downside, which means buying momentum is here. So that's a good sign for the Dow Jones. For Nasdaq is much better than the other two. We have a really long wick, and it looks like it's possible that Nasdaq is trying to finish this cup and handle pattern, and it could be bullish. So it's also possible that this action might also include the S&P 500 and Dow Jones, and that would be very good for the overall stock market. Question is for you. What do you think of the stock market? Do you think it will crash next week, or do you think it will go up? Please leave your comment below at the comment section. And that concludes today's video. My name is Chui. This is your trading and investing channel, Blockchain Thunder. Thank you guys so much to come back to the channel. If you like my content, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Chui out.